Well, here we are on day two. Something I forgot to mention was that Keith came up to meet me yesterday. He travelled down up from Mercia, which was 320 miles. So he decided to travel 320 miles to meet his little brother, or his big brother, to ride back with him to Mercia. He came up in short sleeves shirt and a cut, so had bare arms, and when we set off this morning at 7:30 it was dark and it was very, very cold, and he was cold, and so was I, but he said no problem, we've got a McDonald's which is not very far away, and we can just get straight into McDonald's, have a hot cup of coffee, it's only about half an hour's ride away, and have a hot cup of coffee, something to eat, and then I'll get on with our journey. Unfortunately, when we got to McDonald's, it was closed, so we had no way of getting a cup of coffee or anything to eat, and so we were a little bit hungry and thirsty and cold. So we then got back on the road and decided not to bother stopping for breakfast at all, and just carried on until we stopped for lunch. We had a straightforward little tapas dish that we both enjoyed, and very much potato based, and Keith loves potato, so that was fine. Back on the road and heading off back down to Mercia. I think we've got about another hour and a half, I think, before we get to Mercia from here. And Keith was telling me in the headset, because we've actually got some communications in our headsets, although they haven't been working that well when we were travelling on the motorway, which has been a bit disappointing. But evidently Mercia can get a bit busy, especially at the time that we're going to arrive. But hopefully it won't be too bad, and we'll get through and get on to where Keith's apartment is. Well, this is where Keith and Chris have got their apartment. It looks very, very nice. It's very, very manicured. Evidently, Keith was telling me that this was part of a complex called Polaris World, who actually went bust in the late or the early 2000s, and then it's been bought and redeveloped into a very, very nice golf complex. And it really is very pleasant indeed. And it's funny that Keith, he's ex-military, so it reminds him of being on camp. And when we came through the gate, that's the guard room as far as he's concerned. And then when he goes to the bar or goes to the shop, then that's the naffy, because that's what it was called when he was in the services. And then in the mornings he goes and has a walk around the camp to keep fit before he has a game of paddle tennis. What a very nice life he's got. So anyway, let's hope for the next few days I'm going to experience some of that. It's a very well manicured place, this, and I love the tree-lined road as we're going through here. It's very attractive. It reminds me a little bit of Florida or California, certainly being in America. But I suppose you are in the sunshine anyway. We're actually in Spain, where the sun does shine. It's a very nice complex that Keith and Chris have got here. It's not what you normally think of Spain. You think mainly of high-rise flats by the sea, but this is very tastefully done. Oh, it looks like we're going into a garage. We're going into an underground car park. Well, that seems very safe for the bikes. Have I got a post behind me? Nope. Cartagena, it's a port city in the Murcia region of southern Spain. Founded by the Carthaginians and later conquered by the Romans, it is a historically significant city with a deep natural harbour, a major naval base and rich Roman ruins like the Roman theatre, like the one here. Today it's a blend of ancient history and modern maritime and industrial activity, attracting visitors interested in both history, culture and the sea. Now, you probably think that I read that and didn't know it off by heart because of my intelligence and history knowledge. Well, you're absolutely right. I did read it. But I thought I'd give you a little bit of history of Cartagena because I didn't know anything about it, so that's why I looked it up. What have the Romans ever done for us? Well, apart from education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, freshwater system and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us? Another country, another Harley Davidson dealership. This is Mercia Harley Davidson. Quite a neat, Harley Davidson, really. On leaving Harley Davidson, we went to a tapas bar on the beach, which turned out to be a very amusing afternoon. We were all looking at the menu and deciding what we were wanting, and Sue decided she couldn't really decide on what she was going to have, so she asked the waiter on a particular dish, how big is it? To which he looked rather surprised, and as though that was rather a personal question, which we were all very amused about. And so from then on, the bar was called the How Big Is It bar. It was a few days of celebrations after Sue's birthday. The following day was Keith and Chris's wedding anniversary. To celebrate it, we went to a traditional Spanish restaurant called Rabat. So as not to outstay our welcome at Keith and Chris's, Sue and I decided to go and have a few days away and wander around the Spanish countryside and look at the different parts of Spain. We were by the coast with Keith and Chris, so we thought we'd go inland a bit. We did find that the countryside was extremely tranquil and nothing really like we expected Spain to be. But it was very quiet and very nice, and we headed off round these country roads until we found a village called Castril, and a little bar here. I don't know how they built that monument up on top of the hill, but it was an amazing little village. Our next port of call was a tiny village called Mocklin. You may have heard of it if you have been watching the Alan Carr and Amanda Holden when they bought a villa for €1 and then did it up. And this is the place it was where they did it up, in a place called Mocklin. And there is Casa Alamanda. It's they did a very good job of it, and the village did very well out of it as well, with all the film crew. It put them on the map, I think, which is hence the reason we went to have a look at it.
After spending an extremely pleasant night in a hotel and spa, we found out that this part of the country was where the spaghetti westerns were filmed. Those with Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, you know, the Good, the Bad and the Ugly, and The Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more. And evidently you can go to the studios to see where they were filmed, so that's where we're heading.